Hello, everybody. Welcome to another review. Came out of theater not too long ago after watching Talk to Me. It is 10:24 p.m. and as per usual, if you happen to find this channel through my Discord server, Facebook, or just YouTube in general, and you like my work, feel free to hit the subscribe button below and spread the word to your friends and family. And at the end of the video, if you did enjoy the discussion, the analysis, feel free to hit the like button as well and spread the video to your friends and family. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the details of this film. Upon watching the trailer for Talk to Me, my immediate reaction was more along the lines of feeling complete indifference. My expectations was more along the lines of, okay, this is going to be another jump scare fest, horrible CGI effects, bad acting, horrible one-liners, and it's not going to be anything that would leave a lasting impression when it comes to the horror genre. Upon doing some research about it, my understanding is that it was directed by indie directors or YouTube creators. I think their name is the Raka Raka Twins. I'm not familiar with who they are or what their work is, so feel free to correct me if I got it wrong. But considering that it was directed by YouTube creators, and then an independent horror studio A24 released this film, and needless to say, upon watching the film, I was pleasantly surprised. This was not anything that I was expecting when it comes to the horror genre. The premise of this film is a group of friends get together at this party, and when they come in contact with this severed embalmed hand, this this when they hold the hand and say talk to me, they come into contact with all these different deceased spirits on the other side. Some that are friendly, some that are violent, and some that are simply disgustingly trollish, if you will. That's about the only way that I can describe it. Throughout the course of the story, you begin to see how it's taken a toll on Mia, the main character, and how the overall is, for me, it's more along the lines of a combination of, say, The Shining, Jacob's Ladder, The Sixth Sense. You're able, and Mirrors, when Mirrors is quite an underrated horror film in my opinion. You take all those different dynamics of those films and you combine them together, and that's what Talk to Me is. And I have to say, I was massively impressed with the overall presentation of this film. It's all about building up the tension and getting you as uncomfortable as you could possibly be, along with disturbing imagery, brilliant atmosphere, wonderful acting. The acting is what really stood out to me most of all. There's not a 1 week performance. Every single reaction that you are witnessing in this film is very realistic. It doesn't put you into the perspective of saying, okay, you're talking to the screen because you believe the characters are going to do something stupid. No, these are characters who are completely out of their element, and they know what they're doing is very wrong and something that they should not be diving into. However, they still do it because it gives them a different type of high, if you will. It's very unique, and they feel as if it's all harmless in the beginning until they begin to realize that this harmless activity is really beginning to bring about some very drastic consequences into their lives. So as I watched this film, there was never a moment where I felt bored. It wasn't filled with jump scares. It's all about the atmosphere and the tension and the acting and the writing and the characters. You see, and for all intents and purposes, you find yourself liking these characters. There's not one character where you feel that they deserve what's happening to them. They're all likable, relatable individuals that find themselves into this disturbing alternate reality, if you will, that is just riddled with horror and flat out gross out disturbing imagery. To me, if I had to have a directors that was going to do say a remake or a reboot of Silent Hill, I would have the directors of this film talk to me to do it, because this is absolutely what Silent Hill should have been, rather than what. Not to say that Silent Hill was a bad film, but this is exactly what's needed in terms of injecting the horror genre into more, once again, revitalizing it in a manner that it doesn't need big studio effects in order to make it disturbing and scary. This is disturbing and scary to the point to where it leaves that impression. And everything about this film is, I'm being as vague as I possibly can about describing this film, because it really does leave such an impression upon you that I can't fully articulate it in a manner that, without giving any way any detailed spoilers. I mean, Sophia Wilde does an amazing job as the lead role, and you have Miranda Otto. She is one of the more prominent actresses in this film, who is the Carthidic humor and just her reactions are more dry, humorous, but at the same time, she's not afraid to kind of get over the top with how she interacts with her kids and with the main character Mia. Overall, this film has it all in terms of the suspense, the horror, the atmosphere, the tension, the violence, the gross out humor, and of course, there's if any one of you has watched Jacob's Ladder with Tim Robbins, which is an amazing film by the way, you will notice some bits and pieces of inspiration that the directors took from that film, along with The Sixth Sense and Mirrors and The Shining. Overall, I have to give this film a 2 thumbs up, a 10 out of 10. Completely took me by surprise, and I do recommend it. It is not for children, so anyone who believes that this is something that you should take your children to is far too disturbing. A lot of violent imagery involved and some profanity. So you don't need to take your children, but it is something it is a feature that I hope does have some sense of legs in the box office, and that word of mouth continues to propel it into a much more deserved higher position, because this film is just one of the greatest horror films I have ever watched in my life. And that's saying something, considering that my favorite horror film of all time is the 1978 Halloween. Well, at the end, once again, talk to me. 2 thumbs up, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend it. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about it if you have watched it. If not, when you do get a chance, visit my Discord or my YouTube channel as well. And that is my review of Talk to Me. And I hope you will see me again, my friends. Take care and peace out.